the economic crisis, persistent economic crisis. Let me tell you, in France there was persistent economic crisis where people were so poor, people were unemployed, people had nothing to eat. It is this that made the key revolutionaries, that made them to get so many supporters. Why? Because they capitalized on the hard question of the time, and that was the economic crisis, to get so many supporters around them. And this engineered the success of the French Revolution. Then the self-conversion of the Third Estate into the National Assembly. Let me tell you, members of the Third Estate announced themselves as the National Assembly. You remember when they sat in the tennis court, they told the king, we are not going to move from here, except bayonet will make us move from here. Bayonet meant a sword. By this time, a revolution had started. And this engineered the success of the French Revolution. Then the support the revolutionaries got from the Paris mob. Let me tell you, the Paris mob, this was the group of people who were killing anybody who was not supporting the what? The revolution. So people feared and they joined the struggle against King Louis the what? The 16th. And this engineered the success of the French Revolution. Let me tell you, still some people liked the king, but they were telling him to work according to the French what? Revolution, what it wanted. That meant liberty, equality, and fraternity. But the man wasn't willing to listen. It is this that engineered the success of the French Revolution. Then the support from the army. Let me tell you, the army, instead of supporting King Louis XVI, it sided on the side of the what? The masses. When the army sided on the side of the masses, it is this that engineered the success of the French Revolution. Because by this time, even those who are not willing to join the struggle, after hearing that the army was supporting the revolution, they joined the what? The revolution. So I can tell you, 23 million people were determined to rise up against the nobles and the clergy, who were 2 millions. Another one, the death of Count Mirabeau. Let me tell you, Mirabeau was the only man who could sit and tell the revolutionaries, don't kill the supporters of the monarchy. And he could tell the monarchists, don't kill the supporters of the revolution. But what happened? It died at a time when it was so much needed. When Mirabeau died, the revolutionaries didn't have anyone to stop them from rising up and even kill King Louis the 16th. And this explains the success of the French Revolution. Because the main symbol of the monarchy was King Louis the 16th. But when Mirabeau died, Mirabeau on his deathbed said, I carry with me the last rags of the Bourbon monarchy. In others, if I die today, the monarchy is going to die. So the death of Mirabeau, let me tell you, the death of Mirabeau is what they say, the untimely death of Mirabeau. He died at a time when he was so much needed. So his death engineered the success. Another one, the insensitivity of the aristocracy in France to the problems of the masses. Let me tell you, the aristocracy led by King Louis XVI was so insensitive. It was not listening to the problems of people. Economic crisis, social crisis, then inflation. These were the key problems disturbing the country. But the regime, having the nobles and the clergy on their side, were so insensitive, were not willing to listen to the problems of the what? Of the people. And this engineered the success, then the availability of able leadership. I can tell you, by this time there was what you call able leadership. Key players like Mirabeau, Lafayette. You remember Lafayette fought in the American War of Independence, a man who was trigger happy. So by this time, these ones mobilized the people. Through their mobilization, many people joined the struggle because these were able leaders. So it was a question of the able leadership that engineered the success. I can tell you the revolution had to succeed because of this. Then the fall of Bastille on 14th July. I can tell you, at a time when the revolution was moving on, it is said people attacked the Bastille prison. The general was looking after the prison. His head was removed. It was paraded on the streets of Paris. This meant by this time that the revolution was succeeding. So the fall of Bastille engineered the success of the French Revolution. I can tell you the main symbol of the monarchy was the Bastille prison, because innocent people had been in prison, but at one time they attacked the Bastille prison, and this engineered the success. Then the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen. You remember King Louis XVI was against the rights of man and citizen when the rights were declared. This engineered the success of the French Revolution, because the declaration of the rights meant the survival of great ideas of the revolution in form of liberty, equality, and fraternity, and this engineered to the success. Praise be to the key players of the revolution. Talk about Mirabeau, Lafayette. This stood in the road when others were running away. Another one, the creation of the National Guard. Let me tell you, as the revolution moved on, they created the National Guard. This was the revolutionary army willing to kill and imprison whoever was not supporting the revolution. It is this that engineered the success of the French Revolution. When by this time the National Guard was created, it meant that the revolution was succeeding. Because at one time the revolutionaries were not organized, but later they got the National Guard. Then, of course, the March of Women to Versailles. Of course, by this time, women wanted food for their children and husbands. It is said the price of bread, the price of bread was very high. In this kind of arrangement, as the price of bread was very high, you remember when they marched to Versailles, they found there Marie Antoinette. Marie told them, if bread is expensive, try cakes. By this time, even those who are not willing to join the struggle had to join. And this engineered the what? The success. I can tell you, people are willing to join the struggle. Because Marie was a very arrogant woman. Moreover, she was a foreigner. Marie Antoinette. She's the woman who used her body to influence government policies. Very shallow king. How could the body of a woman make the king move away from the real principles? I can tell you, this man wasn't supposed to be a leader. Another key aspect, the rise of political clubs in France. Girondins, you give examples, like Girondins, Jacobins. Let me tell you, as these clubs emerged, every club wanted political what? Power. Because a political party is formed not to sell onions in the market. Every party wants political what? Power. That's why by this time, the clubs started decampaigning King Louis the 16th, and this engineered the success of the revolution. Then, of course, the influence of the American War of what? Independence. Those who fought in the American War of Independence, the French, realized that the people they were helping, they were even far better than them. So it is this that engineered the success of the French Revolution. Because when they reached there, the Americans had freedom of speech, but the French didn't have. They were led by a man called Lafayette. a man who was great in terms of fighting. And by this time, they had to join the struggle because of the influence of the American War of Independence, then the influence of England. You remember, England was a monarchy, but the people of England had a constitution. The French didn't have a what? A constitution. So it was the influence of England that influenced all of the French, especially the 23 million peasants, to join the what? The revolution. So it was the influence of England that engineered the success of the French Revolution. Then the influence of the philosophers. Let me tell you, Voltaire, this man was a restless writer. He could write even in times of sleep. Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote and said, men are born free, but everywhere they're in chains. Because men are born free when they are young, but everywhere they're in chains. You go to the Catholic Church, you want land. The Catholic Church used to take people's land. You go to the queen and the king, you want to decrease in the price of bread. Mary tells you,